All right, guys, here we go. Welcome to the first ever Explore Yarns with Your Mates, brought to you by Your Mates. So what the idea behind this little podcast is we're going to throw it up on Spotify, and it's also going to go on YouTube. So the whole idea behind this is I can get other sort of four-wheel drive influencers throughout the scene. We can grab industry experts. I'm going to have different people from other companies come in, and we can basically just run through either their businesses, where they started, where they came from, or like my guest today, a bit of a four-wheel driver influencer / inspiration, the man himself. I'll introduce him shortly. But yeah, so we can just get to know the people behind the brand a little bit more and find out a little bit more about them. So this is just the very first one. So make sure if you enjoy it, let us know in the comments and we'll go from there. But without further ado, the one and only, I know how much you love beer, Sammy Eyles. Here you go, mate.
How you doing? Oh, the Larry can.
The Larry can.
Did you say it because you know I don't drink beer?
100%.
Who's got a cider in the house?
Look, normally they have cider, but I don't have any in stock. So at the moment, we're on the Larrys.
Today's a special day. Let's
Absolutely.
do it. I'm actually quite privileged to be the first guest.
Cheers, mate. Absolutely, mate.
Got a name for the podcast or?
Just Explore Yarns with Your Mates.
There we
go. Yeah. So it's obviously a new concept that I've come up with due to everything that's going on at the moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's wing it, mate. But I guess look, most people should know who you are and what you do, but for some of my audience that perhaps hasn't come across you yet, just run through a little bit about what you do and introduce yourself, I guess.
Yeah, so Sam Eyles, I basically run Built Not Bought is the brand. That's what people may have heard. Now, it was pretty much just what I do in my back shed, my passion, and now it's become my day-to-day job. So that's sort of the progression. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, but it's solely really just the YouTube series, Built Not Bought, Instagram and Facebook following closely behind, but it's everything like what I try and promote and what I try and like get people to enjoy doing is working on their own cars so that when they go out and do things in the bush and that, like they understand the mechanics behind it, and you can learn so much and save so much money by doing things yourself. So it's everything built, not bought. Yeah,
spot on. I actually run the sticker on the back of my truck, bought, not built.
There we go. Perfect.
There we go. So, all right, I guess something that most people want to know is like, have you always had the passion for cars or four-wheel drives? Where did it all sort of start? Where did it come from?
Yeah, so like most people, it's probably the way you're brought up. So my dad had a lot of old cars, and I was like, there's photos of me sitting on an old tire at home or an old engine he's pulling out when I'm like 3 years old. I'm responsible for a lot of his tools getting disappeared in the bushes at home, just playing around with them like they're a toy.
Yeah.
And just, grew up from there. And I never had heaps of money either. So for me, it was buying a cheap car, and I was forced to just learn how to do it myself. I'd love to get a brand new paint job, but instead just went and bought some paint that I could afford and learned how to do it myself. So it's just that progression. Now, the four-wheel driving came probably a few years later. I'd say 2016 was when I got my first four-wheel drive and started getting into that. And I was a complete amateur. And I just applied that knowledge I'd learnt from the classic cars and everything I'd worked on into the four-wheel drive scene.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of made the amalgamation of me doing sort of the old school style and bush mechanics, you could call it, into this, modern day four-wheel driving and getting out there and exploring the place.
So the old man, was he into cars? Did you grow up with just having cars throughout his shed? And
yeah, so he's a fitter turner by trade. So folks are from New Zealand, but they pretty much did that. He was on oil rigs, stuff like that, always working with his hands and materials, lathes, all that kind of machinery. And he's really bare bones and old school when it comes to rebuilding cars. Like he's never had a car that's had like brand new nuts and bolts on it. He's always like, I can clean that one up and respray it, So that's sort of how I've been brought up. And we've had, hundreds and hundreds of cars. I've made a shrine at home for his, I think it was his 55th birthday.
Yeah.
And I was almost running out of room. This thing is like a meter by like a meter of just like a little image of each car he's owned, and that's only photos of cars. Like he's had way more, but it's just it just goes on and on and on. So yeah, I guess I just had no choice but to fall into that same trap.
Yeah, no, that's the go. Well, I guess how many cars do you reckon you've had then? How old are you? I guess for start.
I'm 27 now, and I've plateaued a bit, but I was on a good solid couple of cars a year. I'd always buy and sell. Now this Patrol's the one I've had the longest. It's been 2.5 years now, but I normally get bored after a year or so and sell off and that. But I've had a few old Holdens. I always went the old HQs, HZs. I had a panel van. I had an old Tonner. My first car rebuilt was a 74 Mini Cooper. tiny little thing, and that's good to start on because it's small and easy.
Yep.
And now progressed to the bigger muscle cars, and now the four-wheel drive stuff. So,
Well,
and there was a sneaky VY Commodore in there as well.
Yeah. Oh, and the Falcon.
The Falcon, the parts runner.
Well, look, I was going to get into cars later, but since we're into it, so yeah, first car was a Mini, hey?
Yeah, so, well, actually, the first car was a Toyota Corona.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah, I
they were
know
square,
the Corona, ugly as hell.
boxy, ugly thing. I put a Nissan Skyline hot dog exhaust on it, so it was like made the sound and everything.
Yeah.
And learnt to drive in that. Now I was 14 or 15, and that became a rally car. We put a roll cage in it, and I was racing off-road rally through a CAMS license before I could get my real license. So I was already drifting cars sideways, doing all that car control stuff before I was on the road, and that was through Dad just saying, like, here's, you can learn your car control, go silly on the track, and then, you know, the streets for getting from A to B, basically. So that was the first car, but the first one on road was, that Mini Cooper.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And where's the Mini now?
The Mini is sold to a guy in Safety Bay. I never met him because he was a mining worker. Ended up selling it for like 12 grand, which was decent money then because the bloke was obviously a miner. He was cashed up. Saw it online, told his dad he wants to buy it. We just dropped it off on the trailer, never met the dude, and like apparently he just loved it. And who knows where it is now, but that was like years and years ago. So hopefully it's still floating around, but who knows.
And then, so did you run through a few other 2x4 cars before you got into the 40s?
Yeah, so when I sold the Mini, I got a HZ panel van, painted in enamel. It was a horrible paint, but I ended up spending hours sanding the orange peel out of it and buffing it up.
Yep.
Mattress in the back,
Sick.
Big stereo, all that. And I got my P plates on that car, and I was using that to get to and from school. So that's what I drove for probably, like a good year.
Yeah,
and then the HQ came along, which was a big show car back in the 90s. It used to be a panel van. The guy rolled it, and they took the back off, and the roof came with it. So it was actually probably one of the only convertible utes in Australia.
Yeah, right.
And it was full engineered. It had big chassis rails put in it and stuff. But I got it as a roller. Did my first LS conversion into that.
So how old are you at this point?
So this was when I was, I reckon I was 18 or 19.
Yeah.
I had that car for probably 2 or 3 years. It was on and off the road. I don't know why it went off the road, actually. I think it just I did a cam swap on it, and that took a while, and then it just sat because I just didn't drive it. You know, it wasn't a daily, obviously.
Yeah.
And it had ball tyres. I couldn't afford to put new tyres on it, so I just kind of left it sitting there.
Yeah, right.
So that was a bit of a fun car. Would, go to power cruise and that and cruise around the streets. But I ended up selling that to a young dude who sold it apparently like 3 weeks later. Stupid decision. He didn't want it after a while, and then who knows where it is now.
Happy days.
Yeah.
My old man's actually chasing a HQ, panel van. Good luck getting a bloody panel van in any good nick these days without paying a fortune. So
they are dream cars, an old HQ Monaro. So I love that era, that 70s.
Mate, my dream car is a HQ Monaro.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
So I've actually got a family friend. He's got two. He's got a purple one and a bloody yellow one. Greedy bastard.
Yeah.
So look, I think I'm probably going to settle at the moment. I'm actually chasing like a HZ Kingswood wagon.
Yep.
So my old man's got a wagon. We just as soon as we got it, pulled the straight six out, threw a 4-litre V8 in it.
Yep.
Which was probably about 3 years ago, and he hasn't finished it. So
there you go.
The old Holdens are pretty close to my heart as well.
Yeah, they're good to tinker on, eh? And they're because they're really just Aussie. Like there's so many parts for them and that. There's heaps of wrecks floating around, and it's just Aussie muscle.
Well, you've just moved to the sunny coast, which we'll get into a bit later. But I'm down on the Goldie, so I just want the wagon, throw the surfboard in, just cruise around instead of having to drive the big
Venetian blinds on the back. Yeah, awesome, dude.
Yeah, lower it, dump it on its guts. We're good to go.
That's what you want.
All right, so moving through the cars, first 4B.
All right, first 4B. People say, why don't I ever own a Toyota? It's just what I fell into. So, again, I was young, had not much money. I was studying at university. Bought a 1998 GU Patrol wagon. So it was a Series 1, the old 98.
Yep.
Super cheap, super stock, and was just fanging around in that as much as I could until the point where I could afford some tyres and slowly built up
That's
from
the
there.
one you did the first series of Chasing Lines
Yeah. So I've only actually had 2 4-wheel drives, believe it or not.
Dirty Datsuns.
Yeah. The old Nissans.
Yeah.
So it was the wagon and then the ute. So
cool.
Yeah, that build was it was half done, like it did a lift and tyres, like most young people do. Then it was leading up to this big plan, this trip for Cape York, and that's when I decided to do the LS swap.
Yeah, and that's where it all sort of started, eh? Built not bought.
The built not bought wasn't started then as such, but I built that car for the trip, and none of it was filmed.
Yeah.
But Chasing Lines is what we called the series, which was the trip to Cape York from Perth. Awesome trip. We took 2 months off. You know, it was like 15,000 Ks, just the boys. And that was when we first started seeing like drones and trip clips. So it was just kind of getting in at that early stage. And same as most people, probably same as yourself, like you just film these episodes so your friends and family can see it. And once it was on there, it was just free for all. Everyone started watching it and loved it. I had nothing left to show them once it was done. So it was a bit of a, you know, everyone watched it and then there was nothing on the channel for ages. But that's sort of how the channel started and went from there,
There's something about that first big touring trip that you get to do with the boys. You know, I did mine when I was about 19. 2 cars, you know, from Brizzy up to Cape York and back. 5 weeks just living out of the trucks, and that's when I really got hooked. Like that was the moment.
I think everyone gets hooked from that first trip.
Yeah,
and you can never recreate it. Like I've done a second series of Chasing Lions, and they're like, it's not as good as the first one, and I'm like, I agree.
Yeah,
like I was there, but you can never recreate that first experience. And I think it's like, you know, you try and see more and more places, and it's awesome, but it's just
it's that first big adventure that you can never get that first time back of just being remote and living out of the truck for that extended amount of time. So no, all happy days. So that's, and then so you sold the GU wagon, or did you still have it and then you bought the GU ute?
No, I sold it, so I didn't have a 4-wheel for a little while there. Didn't intend to sell it. Again, it was just a timing thing. Someone offered me stupid money. Like I probably put a little post up here, like, oh, who would buy it or whatever on a forum. But it never had an official ad on Gumtree or anything, but some dude who was inquiring, and I didn't take him seriously. I was like, oh, yeah, nah. He's like, how much you want for it? And I was like, oh, it's not really for sale. And then I just gave him a number, and he was like, done. I was like, what?
Really?
So, yeah. Young and stupid, he got some inheritance money or something, you know, go and just
wanted Sam Eyles' car.
Yeah, so I was like, well, I'll take it. So he was on and off for a bit. He's like, oh, I better not do this. Oh, yeah, I'll do it. No. So, yeah, anyway, he ended up taking it. So I had a whole bunch of cash. I'm like, right, what am I going to do? And the one thing, like wagons are awesome, but I just wanted a ute. And end of the day, I pulled all the seats out of the wagon. So it was a 2-seater anyway. And the idea was to have that canopy you can take on and off and keep it light, you know. So that's when I went down that road. But I learned a lot from that first wagon build and kept a lot of the same gear running on it and the same concept and the same sort of setup when it comes to suspension and tyres and that. And just kind of went just that next level on the ute. So it was ideally meant to be built as like my ultimate 4-wheel drive, and I really wouldn't change much on it.
So, well, at the very end of this, people have thrown some Instagram questions up, so we'll get into them. But I know one of the major questions is why the LS? And I guess knowing a little bit more about the background now and the fact that you threw your first LS in at 18 probably says most of it. But was that always the plan? It was obviously, was it a direct injection or a common rail 3-litre?
Yeah, so look, LS motors are just, it comes down to, you want reliability, accessibility to things as well. Like they're a common engine and something that a lot of people do as well. So it's a common conversion. So there's a lot of information out there. So the ute was a common rail 3-litre, and after a lot of research, that's the best one to do it on. Because it's the only one where you can actually do the conversion without any welding on your chassis. It's actually a bolt-in kit, and it feels quite factory. Whereas if you get a 2-litre 4.2, you actually got to cut the mounts off the rails and re-weld, and it's just a bit more of a drama. So yeah, went down that road, and like I'd done a couple of conversions before, and they're just an awesome motor. Like I just, having that muscle car background, people like, you get more power with a barra or do like even an RB25 swap and all this, and it's way cheaper. But I don't know, I'm just a rev head at heart.
And, you know? And stick with what you know, I guess, as well.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, you're doing it for the power. But it's not powerful, you know what I mean? Like it is, but you get more power with a barra, let's be honest. So, you know, I just did it just for a personal preference. And it chews the juice. I don't care. It just puts a smile on my face every time I drive it. And
it sounds good too.
Yeah, it sounds good. And it's been reliable. Like, and like I say, like they've got individual coil packs, all the harnesses like waterproof. People say, how's it go through water? It's been underwater. It's been absolutely fine. Never had a drama. So for me, having it in the ute was just a no-brainer because I had one in the wagon, and I did, like, let's be honest, a 15,000 K trip around Australia through all the water crossings through the telly track, and it came back in one piece. So that to me was proof of the reliability. Yeah,
fair enough. So did it ever cross your mind to even look at going into like a 4.2 turbo diesel and doing it up, or?
No, I don't know why. I've just never been a diesel man. Like I don't know much about them, to be honest. Like, I just haven't had experience with a diesel. All I know is how to pull them out of the car. Get rid of it.
Get rid of it and throw the LS in.
But, like, who knows? I might build an awesome diesel one day and fall in love with them. But for me, it just, just doesn't turn me on right now.
Yeah. No, righto. Fair enough. All right. So what else have we got here? So I guess, what about inspiration in the four-wheel drive world? Is there people you grew up watching, any mechanic shows or lifestyle shows that you sort of went, that's why you went down this path, or did you really just stumble across it?
Oh, good question. Locally, there's not too much influence.
Yeah.
Like, you got your four-wheel drive actions and all that, and that's more for destination influence. Like, where should I go? Because they do a really good job of seeing what's out there.
Yeah.
When it comes to my build stuff, there's no inspiration there because, like, that's why Built Not Bought is what it is. It's because it's so raw, and like what I do in my shed, and I show all the things that I do when I stuff up. It's just literally me in my shed, and the camera's just there.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the editing and the style of the episodes I want to put out, it's more probably a lot of the American influence there. Like, I absolutely froth on watching like a lot of the old Roadkill, Dirt Every Day, those American shows, even the old Chip Foose builds, like just really good content, like, and the way they do their stuff. So that's kind of what I wanted to head towards, and that's where I saw a bit of a gap in the market where I can do some of that stuff in an Australian setting, so like have those builds. Every now and then do just a crazy build for no reason, like that 40s on Falcon or the Wreckers Rescue or something, but just entertainment and a bit of education at the same time.
Yeah. What do you call it? What's it called?
Edutainment. Came up with that.
There you go. No, that's cool. I used to watch a fair bit of those because I never had a muscle car background, but I always enjoyed the old cars, and I used to watch the Chip Foose shows on Discovery Channel.
Yeah,
and those bits and pieces as well. I'm not as big as you as far as it goes, being on the spanners.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, no, I think you've definitely hit a really cool hole in the market that I think was lacking, and a lot, like you're saying, not everyone can at 17 or 18 can go out and buy what they want. And when I was a young fella, I did the same. My first full drive was a Mitsubishi Triton.
Yep.
It'd been in a wreck that my family friend got, and me and the old man, I couldn't afford a paint job, so we sprayed all the bonnet and we built that car up, with the old man sort of helping me, and did the suspension, and I put an alloy bull bar on, which,
there you go,
which I hated, and I had a
saving,
a nice alloy roll bar on the back and alloy side steps and some CSA like real shiny looking mag wheels. Thought I was the coolest kid around. But that's what I did at the start as well, was spend a fair bit of time just tinkering on the tools. And I think a big inspiration to a lot of the young fellas coming through, that you can just have a go, do it yourself.
That's what I'm finding. There's really just that next generation in the four drive industry. I found myself getting a lot of messages about what I'd done on my car before I started the channel. Yeah. And that seemed to reduce a bit because the content's there. And I was finding the same. Like, you go on YouTube to find whether it's entertainment or a bit of education around how to do this, how to do that, and it just wasn't there. So for me, I'm like, all right, I can teach something here, and I can show, the mistakes I made along the way, but still keep it engaging and entertaining so people stick around. Yeah. And I think that's where there's also a lot of other people popping up doing that kind of stuff now. Like, I've seen a lot more builds, and these companies are even showing their builds, which is awesome because it just wasn't there before. And people can learn so much, not even how to do it, even what to do. And like, all right, he's put that bull bar on or used that winch, and then you can see how it's gone in, and you learn so much. And it saves people money when they can see other people do it and decide for themselves whether it's a good thing to do or not. Yeah, well, we've just kicked off our latest build series. So we had the very first episode of Explore builds start last week, which is the new 79 series. How are you at Toyota? You were so excited, bro. Mate, yes! I was absolutely cheering. I remember you was talking about, I'm going to chop the 76 and all this, but I'm glad you're starting a fresh build, eh? Because that thing, don't destroy it. It's good. The 76 is rad, and I've copped a fair bit of heat for getting rid of the 76, trust me. And for doing, a not very original build. Yeah. And I knew all that going into it. And, at the end of the day, I was like, so for people at home that don't know, the idea was to chop the 76 into an extra cab, extend the chassis, and do a tray canopy setup. And it would have been original. It hadn't been done before, and it would have been cool. But look, at the end of the day, the old 76, just over 200,000 Ks, which is not a lot, but
it wasn't really me to do that.
Yeah.
Every 3 years I've done a new truck roughly.
Yeah.
And I like to start from the ground up and put all the bits that I like on it and to sort of half build the back end of the truck and leave all the front the same. I just wanted something fresh. So,
Yeah.
not very original, but look, at the end of the day, I wanted something for me, not to please the people.
Comes down to what you want to use it for too. Like you're
100%.
doing the trips and it needs to be reliable and good for that. And the Toyotas have proved that. And that's why everyone runs them.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I almost like I need something that's going to break. Otherwise, I've got nothing to fix, right?
Yeah.
People are like, why don't you go for driving more? Or why is it always broken? I'm like, dude, I wouldn't have anything to work on.
Yeah.
Like, I thrive on having something to fix on my car.
Yeah.
So.
You like take them out, use them, and then fix it for the next
exactly.
month in the shed so you've got content.
Exactly. That's how it works.
Yeah. Oh, that's the go. All right, cool. Well, all right. I think this is a pretty big question. I'll probably do a bit of a podcast at some point on what I did here. But I think for everyone at home, a lot of people, well, one question, are you full-time with what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah. So I've been full-time for probably, becoming on a year now, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people at home would probably like to hear a little bit about the transition from full-time work. Firstly, what was your background? What did you do for a job? And then how did you manage to go from, I think you were a Sparky, so from being a Sparky to living the dream?
Yeah. It was very, very scary. Let's put it that way. Like it was this, you always just got to take the plunge. Hey, so
yeah.
I've done 6 years of study, diploma of project management and electrical engineering. So I wasn't a Sparky, but I did electrical engineering.
Yeah.
Didn't really like it. Like it was hard to get a job. It was those times where everyone was like, nah, engineers, we need them. And then the universities got flooded and I was just another number. Yeah. But I did that for probably 2 years. But yeah, obviously always working on the cars and then started Built Not Bought as a side thing. And it's a lot of work. Like people don't understand. You'd understand about how much work goes into it.
Crazy
but
amounts of back end work.
You can imagine like having a full-time job and trying to do this. So pumping out a video a week. I started off, I wanted 3 episodes ahead. Yeah. So pretty much my week was like weekend was working on the car and filming. That's all I had was 2 days. Yeah. And then during the week, my job was 10 hours and it was a bit of travel. So it was essentially 12 hours out of my day just working. Then every night I was up to probably midnight just editing that weekend's worth of content to make the episode. And it was just a cycle. It was like every weekend and then every night. So I didn't really have a life outside of work and Built Not Bought. Yeah. But you obviously got to pay your bills. So I had to keep the job. It got to a stage and I probably picked like the worst timing, but
it always is.
You just have to take the plunge. And I think Anna was away, which was my partner. So she was in Brisbane for a month or so on holiday. I was on my own, but I just got promoted to a job working up north, so in the mines for Rio. Yep. And it was a better pay package, like full on promotion. I was like, sweet, making more cash. But 2 weeks into it is when I pulled the pin. I'm like, I'm out of here, can't do it. And it was just a combination of like just getting absolutely run down by trying to keep this thing afloat. Yeah. And just not enjoying the engineering stuff. I was like, this isn't what I want to do. Yeah. The whole time I was at work, I was thinking about what I was going to film, what I was going to edit. I was even sitting on Instagram. Exactly, doing a sneaky edit or an email to a company during work hours. And I'm like, if I'm doing that, I'm in the wrong place here. So it comes down to you should do what you love and work in that sense and not just work to make money because you're not going to be happy. So that's why I just took the plunge. And I spoke to a few people and some had done it before. And they said, dude, you'll just work it out. And I was like, fine. So I did it and had almost no money at this point. And I just went, all right. But as soon as you do that, you all of a sudden have so much more time. So now I'm not working. I could just relax a bit more and actually have my life back after hours and spend some time during the week doing a build and then editing. And it just kind of, there was a few weeks of struggle there. You know, Anna was covering a bit of rent here and there, but then it'll start, speeding up and growing. So I think the best thing to do is make sure that you are actually moving in the right direction. So like you've got growth and all that. And if that's looking good, then as soon as you take the plunge to spend maybe part-time or even full-time on it, you'll just see growth. Yeah. And I think you also get to a point where you probably can't grow much more as well.
Yeah, exactly. When you get into this cycle where you're trapped with working full-time and trying to do the hobby / the dream on the side. And I think at some point it won't progress unless you go all in.
End of the day, life isn't about money. It's about what you do with it and just the enjoyment and being happy. And I found myself working so much and maybe having a bit more money, but now I'm doing this. I'm actually spending less because so much of my money, everything I earned just went into just spending it on my car. Yeah. But now because it's my job, you know, a lot of it comes from the companies and that which help put it together. And then it, you know, you get other monies from like the sponsors and that. And all of a sudden I'm not spending as much because it is my job.
Yeah.
So everything that you make just gets reinvested and helps grow, and you're happy doing that. Whereas like you're not going to reinvest into your boss's company. You know what I mean? It's like, it just changes the whole game. I'm so much more happy. Yeah.
It really does. You can basically cut your income in half.
Yeah.
You're happier. And you know, it is a weird thing, you know. You're just like, there's no way I can live on that. But when you're waking up every morning and doing what you enjoy, you can live on bugger all.
Exactly. Yeah. You find yourself waking up, going to make money, but now you just don't think about money. You're like just enjoying every day. So it changes the game.
No, well done for taking the plunge, mate.
Yeah.
I know we had a beer on the Gold Coast probably a few years back, and you sort of were like, How are you full time?
I think you're one of the people when I said I spoke to a few people and and you said the same thing. You're like, just got to do it.
I was
dude.
like, just do it.
Yep.
Just rip the Band-Aid off and just get stuck into it. And you sort of won't have a choice. You have to find a way to make it work. So as long as you've got enough bloody gut and grit, and you will find a way.
But at the end of the day, if it doesn't, then at least you tried. Like the
100%.
worst thing is like, what if, you know?
Yeah.
You're still in that shitty job and you're like, all right, what am I going to do? Yeah. And you never tried, but if everything failed, like at least I did it.
That's it. No, I guess we'll push into the next question, which ties a lot of this in, and that is top tips for any people out there that are inspiring to be a YouTuber or be a content creator. And I think we're sort of touching on some of them now, but the big one is I think I'll let you answer it first, what your tips are, but
sure, we agree on a lot of them, but like the first thing is you got to have a passion, right? So especially if you're going to make it a full-time thing, because the difference between someone who has a passion and doesn't, and someone who's just doing it to make money, is the hard times you'll just give up. Like so many things come towards you, even now, coronavirus, like the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah, that's why we're 1.5 meters away.
Exactly, you get the tape measure out. Like it's putting a hold, it's affecting absolutely everyone. Yeah, but that's just an example. But there's so many things that will just set you back. Negative comments, like just, you know, a deal that didn't go through, or something that my car could have just blown up and I would have been like 30 grand engine just in the bin. Like, and if that happened, I wouldn't have given up, you know, because the passion's there, and that's the thing that will get you through. So first, you got to make sure you got a passion for it. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. Yeah. Two, you got to sort of make sure you find, I'd say like some sort of niche in a way. Like there's a lot of people see something they like or watch Explore or Built Not Bought, and they're like, oh, that's awesome. That's an awesome life to live. I want to do that. Yeah. But you can't just do that because you always be a step behind. So you got to sort of make it your own and actually find something that's slightly different. Otherwise, you're just going to be tailing them the whole time. So
completely
that's
agree.
a big thing as well. Yeah, you agree on that. So other than that, what else? We've got 5 things to go.
We don't need 5. It was just top tips. Yeah, and I think
as long as you got that, if you got a passion and a niche that's different, it's gonna work. You're gonna find a way to make it work. Yeah,
I think you're spot on. And I think probably the one that I'd add to that would be, you know, like you said, finding your niche. If you're trying to copy or recreate Built Not Bought or full drive action, you're gonna struggle, and like you said, you're gonna be a step behind. So for me, I think the biggest tip is to just be yourself. If you got to do it day in, day out, and you're on camera and you're on social media, if you're not who you are in real life and not doing the things that you truly enjoy, and you're trying to copy or do something else, like, you're gonna fail.
Yeah. You can't put on that face forever, right?
It'd get absolutely exhausting and tiring. And you know, when I shot my very first ever pilot, I actually used a film crew that shot for full drive action.
I could tell.
There we go. So please don't go and watch that pilot episode.
I actually watched that video probably a week ago.
Really?
And I don't know how I came across it. It was a recommended video.
I really tried to hide it.
Oh, dude, it's so good. Just seeing you look young and you're so enthusiastic, but just the change that you've gone through, it's just crazy. But yeah, keep going what you're saying about it.
Well, like shooting that, you know, I was sort of told to present better, so like quieten down. And a lot of people tell me, stop yelling, shut up. And it's like, well, that's how I get excited. So, you know, and that sort of got suppressed when I was shooting that. And I was really bastardized by watching a lot of other content. When I've watched everything. Like my background is in watching content is crazy. Like Have you ever heard of Alby Mangles?
Nah.
Google, YouTube Alby Mangles, bro.
Yeah.
Some of the older audience watching this will know Alby Mangles. So he's like the OG original. He's the man.
Yeah.
He had a show called World Safari, and he
Yeah.
traveled around Australia with his dog and just models.
Yeah. No way.
So he did like World Safari Africa.
Yeah.
And he's just this Aussie dude in his stubbies. He had a yacht and a dog, and then every ep was just like this new model. And he would do crazy things like old like Land Cruisers through like places that you just shouldn't go because it's so bloody dangerous back then. And so off that to like Malcolm Douglas and then the All for Adventure boys and
Bit of everything.
And a bit of everything. So I guess you take a little bit of time to find your feet too. Like obviously you guys shot chasing lines initially, and now you've gone more towards the build side.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you realize really quickly that unless it's what you love to try and do it day in, day out, like it becomes work real quick.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah. Because your episode's almost like it's probably the way you're marketing it as well. It's just a trip with the boys, and that's it.
It's just what I generally enjoy doing.
Yeah,
It's just lifestyle.
Because you don't see that, like, all those other big channels in the TV shows. You don't see them going out on the jet skis and the boats. Like, you're doing a bit of everything. Dirt bikes. It's not just forward driving. I think that's where you're different to a lot of those shows as well.
Yeah, I
like
think
you say,
that was our niche. We went from being, we've had a bit of a rebrand as instead of being Explore 4x4, we've rebranded as the Explore Life because, I don't want to just full drive every time we're out. I love jumping in the tinnies and on a dirt bike or trying spearfishing's my latest and greatest thing that I'm just like hooked on. So that's what we're going to show. And I think, that's sort of become our niche is more a bit of everything, anything outdoors. And
it opens your doors as well. Like,
it does. Yeah.
Like, let's be honest, forward driving industry is thriving right now, but nothing's forever. Things change, and that's where you can break away into just anything exciting and adventure and adrenaline you can build around. And I'm the same with Built Not Bored, and like
you could go into muscle cars next week.
That's it. Just anything automotive.
Rice burners if they come back.
Yeah. So and it's whatever I'm into, like you say, whatever I'm building, I'll show you. So
that's sick. So I think that's the three main tips: is the passion for it. What was your second one? Passion.
So the passion, and then having that niche.
The niche, and just being yourself and being true to what you love. And I think for anyone out there that's wanting to have a crack, that if you follow those main principles, I think you're well and truly on your way.
Yep.
We might, since we're talking about filming here, and for new up and coming YouTubers, something that I get asked very often, and you probably do as well, is like, what gear do I get, Sam? What do I need to start? How do I start? So, if you had any input onto that.
Just a GoPro, right? Look, there's so many cameras and equipment out there that can do different things, and they've all got their own design, whatever. But like, to tell you the truth, the Chase and Lines trip we went on, that my passenger Liam, it was his sister's camera we borrowed.
Yeah, right.
I didn't even know how to turn the thing on. So it was a case of like, all right, whack it on auto and just point and shoot.
Yeah.
And it's more what you do and what you do with the footage than the actual quality. Like, people will watch it if it's good. It doesn't need to be amazing. Yeah. And the better quality gear you've got, the harder it is to operate, and you're going to make a mess of it.
100%. It slowed me down in content creating. I think one thing you did well was it's very raw, and you were saying you're doing one a week. Now, even last year, we were only putting up, and this is a tip for YouTube, is like consistency is obviously key.
Huge, yeah.
Consistency is king on YouTube, and we were doing like one a month, man. Like if we're lucky, because I wanted this high
quality
level of quality, and it really stunted our YouTube growth.
You'll get spikes, and then it will just drop off.
And this year we've I've doubled down, and I've got a fair bit of content that I've been releasing lately from a vlog that I just shot with the GoPro.
There you go.
Up in the Northern Territory. Well, anyone that asks me what should I get, I'm like, go out and buy a GoPro, whatever the latest and greatest one is.
Throw a mic on it.
Even without a mic, if you just get a GoPro, it's stop start, you can't mess it up, and you're away. So for anyone watching, we've just released the Northern Territory style vlogs. My GoPro 7 Black, or it's only a 7, it shit itself. And I filmed all of that on a GoPro 4.
Oh, there you go. They're the ones that don't even have the screen on the back.
No screen. It's just like stop, start, and you can tell my footage is shaky. the colors suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
It's what you do.
now. I don't care, right? I'm like, back in the day, I wouldn't have put that out. So we've ramped up to 2 a week at the moment on YouTube.
That's
and
full on.
it's crazy, but
I was doing that for probably 6 months.
that's about all I'll have in me.
Yeah, look, to be honest, like, I think Ronnie's pumping 3 sometimes
Ronnie
still a
is
week.
a freak.
He's a machine because he edits everything. Like, he's still doing a lot of it himself, which is crazy.
Shout out to Ronnie.
Absolute
machine,
freak.
yeah. YouTube machine. There's a reason Ronnie's at 250,000 subscribers.
He's a grinder. I found, like, I was doing 2 a week for a good 6 months, and it worked well. It, like, boosted stuff, but I found, like, once you do it for long enough, you start to struggle to make content, and I think consistency is one thing, but you got to find the balance between consistency and quality. Yeah. Because you just put out crap videos, and then it'll do worse for you than better. So I actually stripped back to 1 and doing a better single episode. Yeah. And then that seemed to kind of flatten things out. Yeah. And that's where I'm sticking on to a moment. So unless something new comes up and we do a different series on something, I think 1 a week's where we're going to sit, because you can overload too. Like, you think about it, if you're sitting home on the couch, you're watching Sam or Matt 2-3 times a week, like, you're going to get over it. So keeping it somewhat spread out, I think 1 a week's pretty good. So that's where I'm sitting on that, I reckon.
Yeah, I think that's where we'll head. The main reason I've ramped up to 2 a week is obviously with everything that's going on at the moment. Yeah. So a lot of people at home, they're chasing the content. And the other reason is that I have got a bit of backlog content from that trip last year that I was so bloody lazy and didn't get it out. That I was like, no, I'm just going to one vlog a week and one sort of episode or tip and trick or whatever it might be. But yeah, I think I guess for young YouTubers out there you go, one a week. But look, if you can't do 1 a week, I started off doing 1 a month. Yeah. And built from there. So
whatever it is, be consistent. Don't do like a 2 week gap, then a 2 month gap. Like, just try and keep it every second week or every month, like you say, because people know it's coming.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that is very true.
But yeah, to the camera gear, just what you can afford and slowly upgrade. I was real big on my audio because that just shitted me when I watched like bad quality stuff. Like, it's good video and everything, but when they got this camera without a mic on it, audio is everything. Yeah. Even
audio
music
is the difference between good video and bad video. Yeah. Rather than the actual visual quality, it is the audio. Yeah,
definitely. Because it makes different when you can hear the person. There's not stupid wind noise in the way. Yeah. Your music's the right level. And that's something I was big on. And, I have a musical background as well. Like, and I don't know, people may not know this, but the original Built Not Bought series, the starting song, I actually wrote and recorded all that myself. This was before I knew you could buy a license to music. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I'm sitting there trying to wite a song.
What, for your series? Yeah. For Tracing Lines?
No, for the
intro.
Built Not Bought intro, Yes. The start song. Yeah, I got my guitar out, got the bass, got a little drum clip going.
You're joking.
And I was like, I can't sustain this. But another fun fact is Mighty Car Mods, another massive build channel. Yep. They do all their own music as well.
Really?
Like, they're producers as such. It's a bit more techno stuff, so it's all digital, but they make their own songs. And that's where it just goes to show how much behind the scenes work goes in. Yeah. And people just look at it and don't even think about it. It's just there. But yeah.
And that's probably another one for young creators it is going out and filming what we do, and we show you what looks like living the dream. Yeah. And it sure as hell beats the shit out of plumbing or being a Sparky, but it does take a bit of the fun out of you know, it's not as fun as just going with the boys and having a trip.
What you see is the final product.
100%.
It's like the finishing job, and it's like all the stuff beforehand is actually work.
Yeah.
So, I do enjoy the editing. I do enjoy the filming. That's where it's a really good blend for me. So
yeah, see, I really enjoy filming. I actually am really getting into filming more stuff myself now. And then obviously I have the crew, and I enjoy being in front of the camera that way. Yep. Editing is something that I've never liked.
It's very time consuming, isn't it?
Time consuming, and I can actually edit. And I think that's kind of why I work good with editors, is because I already when I film, I've already storyboarded it in my head. Okay. And obviously, like, it'd be hard for someone like you that's edited all this time to give it to another guy to edit, because you know what it's going to look like before you've even edited it. And I guess I sort of know what it's going to look like, and then I can portray that to a certain point.
See, that's good. I struggled with that. Like, I've had a couple of guys try and edit for me, but it's the last line of defense for me. And a lot of the way my video and the style of my episodes is the way I edit it. Yeah. So for me, I struggle to give that away unless it's something that's quite generic, like the rig rundowns or something that's always the same sequence.
Yeah, that's easy.
It's hard because, like you say, you film for intent and purpose. Like I film a shot because I know where it's going to go.
Yes.
And when someone picks up all that footage and has to make something out of it and they don't know what was in your head, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, well, I think working with a crew that actually film my stuff, we are sort of storyboarding as we go. We don't really shoot anything unless it's going to be in it.
Yeah.
So we storyboard as we go. But yeah, I guess going out and me filming, and then I sort of know what it's going to look like to when people edit that. It isn't always exactly how you envisaged it because you have shot it a specific way. So it is tough to just film something and give it to someone. Whereas filming with someone is a little bit easier to have them edit. I feel, but
definitely.
Yeah, I don't edit. I just worst YouTuber ever. Don't even do my own edits.
Oh, what are you doing? Nah, it's good. More time for exploring.
Oh, exactly. Look, that's I've always sort of decided that instead of editing, I'll try and grow the business or come up with new ideas or drink your mate's beer and skateboard around the car park, whatever's going on. All right, where are we at? So that's for all the YouTubers out there. We've run through your first cars. Favorite trip you've ever done?
It'll have to be the Cape York one.
Yeah, Cape York.
Boring answer, you all know it, but
yeah,
like you say, your first trip's always going to be the best in my eyes. So,
well, I guess off the back of that, my favourite trip I've ever done too is Cape York because it was the first one. What is your favourite destination to go to? Like, what's your favourite destination? If you could pick anywhere right now to jump in the Pui and go.
Okay. It'd be somewhere back there. I remember we went to a spot. I think what was it called now? Cape Palmerston.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all a blur now because it was so long ago. I don't think it's in the Cape. I think it's coming down through Cairns or something. But we went out and it was a real spontaneous thing. Like we were actually heading towards Brisbane, sort of on the way home. Cape Palmerston turn off. We hadn't researched it. We're like, all right, well, there's a tip out there. There's a campsite out there. Let's go. And it was like one of the most intense tracks. Like the telly track is driven so much. It's almost easy. Like there's crossings in that. But we went to Cape Palmerston and we were getting bogged and there was winches out and it was just absolute brutal to get out there. Like overgrown trees and all this swampy stuff. And we're like, what have we got ourselves into?
Yeah.
Flat tire after flat tire. And it was just like an absolute struggle. But we pulled out. Sun was going down and the tides were huge.
Is that on the east coast?
Yeah.
Is that near like Bathurst Bay?
Oh, maybe.
Cape Palmerston. I might look it up.
Yeah,
Keep
quickly
telling
Google
the
it
story.
because, and I've got some footage of this, but we rocked up and there was this point and the tide was all the way down and there was this island off the coast and I swear it was like at least 1 kilometre and the boys walked across the ocean floor all the way out to this island and I had the drone out. The sun was going down and you could just see them in the middle of nowhere. And because it was the ocean floor, there was a bit of water still there. And it was like a mirrored finish. And it was like the most cinematic shot I've ever taken.
Yeah.
And it was just out of nowhere. Like it was just the hardest track, the most awesome campsite on this tip. No one else was there.
That's South Mackay. So
is it?
Yeah. So you're on the way back.
On the way back, yeah. So I mean, it wasn't in the Cape. It was coming back from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an awesome campsite and just the journey there and back. And I feel like who's heard of Cape Palmerston, you know, unless you're a local, it was one of those things where it's like a hidden gem. Yeah,
I've heard of that. And I think on our last trip coming back from, it's north of Rocky.
Yeah. So
I've been told good things about it. So now I'm going to have to go and check it out.
Do it. It's awesome. Soft sand as well. Hey.
Yeah. Proper soft sand.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the go. So, what about favourite campsite?
Favourite campsite? This is what I was trying to think of before. I had Crocodile on my head, but that's because it was the worst campsite.
Where?
Crocodile Campsite it was called, and it was in the Cape. I forget. It was just after Loyalty, and we were coming back. It might have been off the Frenchman's or something. But it wasn't the campsite. It was just the conditions. It was one of those 45-degree, dead still, no wind nights.
Yeah.
Midges that could fit through your fly screen kind of nights, you know? Like, it was just horrible. Could not sleep. Favorite campsite? Sorry, I forget what it was. It was up there somewhere.
Yeah,
and it
somewhere
was
in Cape.
Yeah, it was on a beach. I can't remember. It might pop into my head later.
Did you get out to Veruya Point?
Nah.
On the west coast?
Nah, we were going to go hit the west, but we didn't end up doing that.
So that was a beautiful little spot that, not my favourite, but it just sticks out whenever we talk about Cape York, and they closed it for sand mining or something. And I I just thought to see if you're
Yeah,
lucky
right.
enough to sneak out there.
Bathurst Heads.
Bathurst Heads, yeah.
That was it. Did you say that before?
That's Bathurst Bay, yeah.
No, Bathurst Heads, yeah. So Bathurst
think
Heads it's still further up in the Cape. But it's one of the only places where you can camp on the beach, and we're talking white sand, and there was a sunset over the water, which is rare on the East Coast. So I think that's why I liked it so much. We got there, and I remember seeing the All for Adventure boys did a trip out there, and it was super boggy, and it was another like mission to get out there, but it was just awesome beach.
Yeah, so Bathurst Heads it's just further. It's like the next bay from Bathurst Bay where I went. Yeah, so
there you go.
Basically, it's out near Cape Melville National Park.
Yeah, Cape Melville, that's the one.
Yeah, that little area there, that whole little Cape Melville region is actually like a bit of a secret gem, I reckon.
Yeah.
Did you go to Elam Beach?
No, we were meant to, but I think it was like mad blue bottle season or something. Because I want to go kite surfing there.
Yes. So
but I didn't
Elam
get there.
Beach is, you go up the coastline from Elam, and that's where
do you take the Starkey track to get down there?
Yes, I think you.
Because we did that, but we cut in early. It was something that stopped us going there. Something was closed, or I don't know what it was. But
well, there is kite surfing huts and thing just up from Elam Beach.
Yeah.
Elam Beach is actually probably one of the best sunsets I've ever seen. Which is weird. Once again, being on the East Coast.
Was it over the water there? Or?
I was kind of over. It must have been like a mountain range.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's actually on Creek to Coast. I was there with Brad from Extraction. We were filming with Creek to Coast. And the guy from Creek to Coast, I forget his name, he was like, that's one of the best sunsets I've ever seen. And I assumed that guy had seen some sunsets.
Yeah, absolutely. No, anywhere in the Cape sounds like it's the best place.
Absolutely. What about on your bucket list? Where have you not been that you want to go? Have you? You haven't been Tassie, have you?
Oh, Tassie. I'm so keen to go to Tassie.
Yeah.
But my car's not ready. But it will happen.
Yep.
And I've had people hassle me, and I'm pretty sure the third season of Chasing Lines will be there. But there's no...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not in the works yet, but I haven't really looked properly at doing it. But yeah, Tassie would be so sick. Like just the water and all those tracks.
Tassie is insane, mate.
Yeah.
Like absolutely insane. I cannot wait to get back down to Tassie. If you haven't checked it out, we have done... we did 2 episodes down in Tassie, basically 3 quick days down the east and 3 quick days up the west, and they're very different. Like... East is that crazy water that you're talking about, like that crystal blue, a place called Bay of Fires. It has this beautiful like red coloration on the rocks, and then the West Coast is like, they call it the Wild West for a reason. Like we were driving up this beach, we got on the beach at a place called Zeehan, and we crossed this river that we were told you wouldn't be able to cross, but we just nailed it at dead low. I think it was just a fluke. It wasn't very difficult. And driving up that beach, this crazy soft sand, it's always very grey and doom and gloom on that side because of I guess, well, that's the bottom of the bloody Australia. So it's like Jurassic Park. It's the best way I can describe it.
Just wet and gloomy
and dark, and like these hectic, just these beautiful rainforesty trees and mountains and
such a contrast to the Cape. So it's just
and it's there's no fences out there for like farming.
Yeah, okay.
So the whole of the West Coast, there is literally nothing. You'll get the tiny little community, like fishing community, but there's no fences, there's no farming, so it's just
land.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. You got to get out.
I'm keen.
I might have to tag along for that one.
Yeah.
All right. So look, you obviously were a WA boy, and you've recently moved over to the sunny coast, the Sunshine State.
Yep.
Queensland, and that was a lot of questions that people had on the Instagram as well. So I thought I'd touch on that. Why the move, mate? What's going on?
The move was meant to happen like a good 2 years ago.
Yeah. Straight
out of uni, before any of the YouTube. It was just, I'd been here before on holiday, and even when we did the Cape trip coming through, like it was just, I don't know, just everyone seemed happy, and there was like a lot of the greenery, and we did Fraser Island and all that, and I was like, oh man, I just love Queensland.
Yeah.
And I was starting to just find myself getting to a bit of a rut in Perth, it's just the same old thing. Everything's very spread out. Like I wasn't able to get out and do too much stuff. Like everything's far away. So
yeah, true.
When the missus came home and after that trip to Queensland, and she was like, I want to move there. I'm like, done, let's go.
Yeah,
so that was sort of the catalyst. Like, and I just, gone this full time, and that kind of released the reins a bit with being restricted to your job.
Yeah.
So yeah, we basically made the move. She wanted to change her career, so it was just the stars aligned and everything sort of made sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just kind of for me, it was like starting up just my own life, you know, because I still, after I did a lot of the touring for the shows last year, we got out of the house we were renting and had to move back in with the folks because it was a bit of a kind of overlap period of just being in limbo.
Yeah.
So I was real keen to just get to my own spot and get a shed and everything and go from there. But
and so you've got the what do you call it?
Oh, it's like, I know, built on board HQ.
Yeah.
Got me workshop finally.
Yeah.
That was another big thing. It's just taking work away from home. Like it's good to have a shed at home, but the neighbours yell at you and you're making too much noise and there's never enough room in there. So I was like, right, time to get like an industrial shop.
Yeah.
Go home, switch off, and just have more space and room to do things in my own living.
And I obviously don't tinker anywhere near as much as you do, but I found that as well, just to have our own space at the Explore Life HQ.
Yeah.
That we've got, you know, you can, when you go to work, I'm more productive. I suck at working from home.
Yeah.
Especially the background we've both come from in like that 9 to 5, well, not 9 to 5, but tradie style background where you get up, you go to work, you come home.
Yeah.
I struggled for a long time to get motivated while I was sitting at home trying to create content.
It's very easy to just run off and do something else.
Just go sit on the couch or ring your mates up or whatever. Yeah. So I think that'll be huge for you, bro. Like,
very early stages. I'm still painting the walls, but
Yeah.
I've been in there for probably 3 weeks.
I already know like the amount of extra content that you'll be able to produce out of that, and just that will, I know how much that's going to lift you up just from. We've had this place for about 2 months now, and just it's finally kind of our own space now, and you can just get more creative, and you are more productive, I feel, when you're there.
Yeah, no, it's good, but I don't know anyone over here. That's the other thing. Like I've got my own space, but it's getting to know the right people now and having that crew around me. I don't have like a team as such, but just having videographers there for when I, need to film stuff, and I don't have all my mates like I used to with Churchy and that to just call up and say, let's do this video. So true. It's good I've got my own space, but it's trying to rebuild that circle of friends around you to be able to kind of get involved with what we're doing. So that's where I'm at. But exciting times.
Well, I did tell you to move to the Goldie, mate. But
it's a bit too much going on here. I'm still like a bit of a country man at heart.
I love the sunny coast. We actually, that was our holiday destination as kids growing up, and I always used to hate the Goldie. I was like, I would never move to the Gold Coast, and then I accidentally sort of got a bit of a job down here when I first started transitioning, and now I bloody love it. But no, mate, I'm sure we'll be up there and doing a lot more. So I think let's get into some of these Instagram questions that people are sending in, and we'll start wrapping this up.
Let's do it.
All right, what do we got here? So this is pretty common. There's a lot of Toyota being mentioned in here, but I think the most popular one, Jacob _Vidler. When is he gonna buy a real car Toyota? Is there any plans for a Toyota, or are you sticking with the Nissan?
No, there's been a plan to do this 80 series for a while, which I couldn't do until I moved here. So I am on the hunt for a cheap 80 series. We're talking like a few grand, like bog stock, almost ready to go to the tip kind of thing. Because what I want to do is like a budget build on that. Something I get asked a lot. Like I've done my ultimate truck, but now it's like, okay, do something we can do. So it's really trying to build a car that you can just go and do for $5,000 or something, you know? So that'll be just sort of a shorter build, but it'll be a Toyota, and who knows what I'm going to do with it after. Maybe I'll do a trip somewhere and see how far we can take the thing.
Well, I tell you what, let me know when you're close to that, because at the moment we're doing our little camera car build up, which is still a cheap build. It's a common rail GU. It costs us $10,000, and we're doing the basics to it. But a lot of our followers say too, like, I'm building the 79. That's my dream car, and that's a ridiculous build. So let me know when you're ready to do a $5,000, and maybe we'll have a budget build off. And then we'll see.
Do a trip together in the cheap car.
Let's go to Cavey. Welcome back, bro.
Let's do it. Just see how far we can take him.
No, we'll sing out. We might stay tuned for that one. I'd love to do a budget build off against you. I'll pull Berkey out of the bloody shed for that one and get him to help along. And you might have to fly Churchy over. We'll see how.
That's it. I need my team back.
All right, sweet. So there you go. He's not completely bloody hopeless. He has got a Toyota coming up soon. This is a pretty funny one, and I think we all know what the answer is going to be. But Tyler _Dorling, if you had to swap car with each other, would you do it?
Jesus.
So I guess we're talking about my 76 for your GU. Would you do it?
No.
Not a chance.
But the thing is, no one wants my car either. I remember at one of the shows, like, there was a lot of nice trucks there. It was, I think it was the Adelaide show. And there was a panel of like 8 of us up there, all us influencers.
Yeah.
And it's like, whose car would you pick out of everyone's here? No one chose my car.
Most people pick Ronnie's, I think.
Yeah. Because it's going to cost you too much to run, bro.
Yeah. I wouldn't know what to do with myself in a 2-wheel drive bloody LS. I don't know. So then we've sort of touched on this, but a lot of people did ask, like, do you miss WA? Is West best? You haven't been over here probably long enough to even answer that question.
No, but I've already been to the beach twice, and I see why.
So straight to DI?
Yeah.
How good is it?
No good.
No, good.
It's good.
I beg your pardon.
I see why WA is known for its beaches. I mean, the beach is nice, but like we have no permits, no cops, no speed limits, no restrictions. You don't need licensed bikes. You can take buggies. It's a free-for-all over there.
That's crazy, bro.
Well, it's not a free-for-all, but
No,
it's just
crazy.
no restrictions.
That's crazy
right?
talk. Like, we think we're lucky in Queensland because you go to Victoria and you're not even allowed to drive on the beaches.
Yeah, well, fair enough. But the restrictions are frustrating, but
Yeah.
the beaches are really nice in WA, and you get that sunset over the water. So
Yeah,
I think everyone that goes to WA, they've got to go beach camping.
Yeah.
Hit the north, even the south coast, all through Esperance.
I've done a little bit of Esperance, which was just crazy. But
silica sand, super white, awesome. Yeah.
proper white silica sand, You haven't done... Oh, you have been to Fraser?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been to the west coast of Fraser?
Well, we spent the first night on the west coast, but it was just a little camp, and then we bombed over to the east coast. But
did you go over near the
No,
resort?
we came in at Inskip.
Right.
But I think we came up and cut straight in.
There's a spot over there called Awinia Creek.
Okay. No, we didn't go there.
Which is there's a shot and we were like wake skating and that is actually beautiful white sand, crystal clear water.
Yep.
So Awinia Creek, get over there before you judge us too bad. But that's about all we've got to even come close. And I know WA beaches are better.
I love the tides too. Like we have half a meter tide.
Really?
So I'm coming here. I'm like, oh my god, it's lapping against my car. What's going on? Like this 2 meter thing's crazy. It's good when it's down. There's so much beach, and I see why there's a speed limit.
Yeah.
WA, you couldn't even get to 80 k's.
Right. I wondered why you said there's no speed limit.
No, the tracks are always there. It's very steep. So we have a small tide, but your beaches are very flat. So when there's a big tide, it just recedes. But WA is like on a big angle, so you don't see any movement really.
Yeah, I mean, you can sit on 150 down the beaches here. It's just rock. It's like driving on the road.
Yeah.
All right, a couple of quick more Instagram ones, and we'll wrap it up. What is the best? This is a pretty good one from James Wellham __ best and worst thing about the LS swap.
Well, best thing would just be the power and the noise, and the worst thing would be the fuel bill. Let's be honest.
Fair enough. I tell you what,
I'm sure he would have known the answer to that.
Yeah, he probably would have. I am I'm a little bit worried. I'm building this beautiful new 79 series, and it's got this whopping great big DPF, and it's not going to sound like a V8. And there's literally nothing that I can do about it legally on the market. And I'm going to have a loud stereo or something.
Any diesel, they just don't sound like a petrol car.
No, they don't. But you can still get a nice note out of a bloody 4.2 or out of a bloody
like a truck.
V8. Yeah. I did just see another one here, and this you may have answered this with the 80, but Ross _Chappie, best first full drive for under 10 grand.
Ooh, you can get patrols for like under 10 grand.
Yeah, true.
Which is good because it's live axle, like an 80 or a GU.
Yeah.
But for some reason, a Hilux popped into my head. An old dual cab Hilux.
Yes.
I'd love to do like an old 95 dual cab Hilux, big old lifted, but on springs, leaf springs.
Leaf springs all round.
Indestructible, right? You seen the Top Gear episode where they try to kill the thing?
100%. Well, mate, look, put it this way. That was going to be my answer because that's what I'm going to build to go up against your 80.
Oh, here we go. It's out in the open. The 80 versus the Hilux.
100%. Leaf springs all round.
Yeah.
Put longer bloody leafs under there. You can do the 4-inch lift, 35s.
Yeah.
Little 2.8 bloody diesel.
Yeah.
Slow, but away you go.
Yeah. Put 54s on it.
Yeah.
Swampy.
I don't know how they drive that thing. It doesn't even.
Gearing's
it doesn't turn.
It doesn't go fast.
No, it doesn't go anywhere.
It's huge
in the mud. There's some ones on here that I can't really can't repeat. Let me tell you that. We've covered a lot of these because I did read these before we went on to do with beaches and moving over. So we are getting close to an hour. So I tell you what, let's wrap this up. We got our top 5 bangers that we're going to run through. That we're going to ask everyone. So dream car number 1. I think you've already built it.
HQ Monaro.
Oh, true. Yes.
Yes.
HQ Monaro. We have the same dream car. I love that. First one to get it wins. Favorite campsite. We touched on that somewhere.
Bathurst Head.
Yep. So Cape York. Righto, one vehicle mod that is an absolute must.
Oh, I don't want to be Mr. Vanilla, but tyres. Who's sick of hearing put tyres on your car? But it is literally the best thing you can do. It'll take you anywhere.
Yeah.
And then a big
Fair enough.
twin 3.5-inch exhaust.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that's the best. What is it? Mod for every car. Mm-hmm. What about what's the one just camping accessory that you can't live without?
Oh, here we go. All right. I want to think of something good here, but I'm quite basic with me camping.
Yeah.
I love the moon chairs.
Do ya?
Yes. If there's a circle of chairs there and there's got the couch here and everything, I'm always going to gravitate to my moon chair.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know if anyone's seen them. You probably have seen them if you're a camper, but they're like a circular thing. You can lay down. Because I'm not a beer drinker, they don't have a stubby holder, but that's all right for me. I can't wait you drinking. But
I don't like the moon chairs personally. I think
they're quite big when you fold them up. But
big when you fold them up.
But if I forget my moon chair, I'm turning around going home.
Yeah, it's over.
I'm gonna go pick it up.
It's done. I think I still really want to invent my perfect camp chair. I haven't found one.
So many weird ones out there. I
haven't found one that just is
perfect.
I don't think anyone's nailed it. Which
it is a tricky one.
Yeah, because you need the compactness.
Yeah, exactly.
For touring.
Yep.
And you still want the comfort.
Yep.
Anyway, that's another conversation. All right, so last one. What is the best four-wheel drive tip anyone has ever given you?
Oh, my God. Just bloody send it. Probably my mates on the corner.
That is the worst four-wheel drive tip. Please do not listen to Sam.
Oh, God. Best tip. Yeah, just send it.
That's the opposite to mine. I love it.
Don't
complete opposite.
Just like
mine's go like a grandpa. You can always have another run up.
Oh, dude, just send it.
Just send it.
Send it. Get in there. Your mates will pull you out.
Jeez.
Absolutely.
Have you been hanging out with Justin from Patient Camps? Just send it. Send it.
Oh, absolutely.
Fair enough. Or one we always yell out at the full drive comps is your mum rung. She said just feed it.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It's always good for the V8s.
Oh, God.
All right, well, look, firstly, thanks very much for being the first one on Explore Yarns, mate.
Yes, thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. What's coming up? What do we need to look out for?
Oh, just got to get my workshop together.
Yep.
Get the coronavirus out of here.
Yeah, the coronavirus. We're not even going to talk about it.
I know, look, it's put everything on hold, but it has given me some time to catch up on some stuff. Like the shop's coming together, so just got to get all my stuff sorted, get the hoist in there and everything.
Yep.
And then a few more things happening with the Patrol. There'll be a 2.0 coming out.
Yep.
Version 2.0. We're doing a lot of changes. That car's been around for a good couple of years now, so I'm freshening it up. That'll be the first thing you get keen for. We're going to make some changes.
Yep.
And then on to the next big build, which I've tried to keep pretty top secret. A, because I want to keep it top secret, and B, because you're probably not going to see anything for a few months, because what we're going to do is we're going to film the whole build and then release it once we've got it. Because like you say, consistency is a big thing.
Yep.
And we just want to know what the whole finished product's going to be and then release it so we don't catch ourselves out halfway through. But in between, more trips. Maybe a trip up to Glassy. Everyone's asking for that. Go get bogged at Glassy.
We just went to Glassy in the app that comes out this Saturday.
Yep.
And we'll cop a bit of heat. Excuse me for not even trying the hard stuff because it was pouring rain.
Oh, the chicken tracks get harder than pouring rain,
mate,
I'm sure.
It was. I've been going to Glassy for a while. Like I hadn't been in a long time before we went this last trip, but yeah, mate, I did that. I've been there. I've done that. I've done panel damage out there. I've been bogged and had mud come in through the bottom of the car, and people are like, why don't you know? I'll leave the panel damage and bush bashing to other people these days.
I know, it gets that way.
But we did have fun having it, and of course I bloody did do a little. Oh, not so much panel damage, but ripped a bloody flare and that. But she was a pretty wild one. It'll be out by the time this comes out anyway. But we had the camper trailer flip onto its side. I mean, we were dragging a camper as well through, and I think a lot of people wonder why we don't try some of the harder stuff. And my truck's just not set up for it. It's top heavy. It's a heavy vehicle, and it's built for touring. But Yeah, glassy,
I can't
mate.
see
yeah.
that.
What with that car that you're building? What's the purpose behind that one?
This one, it's me trying to just kind of broaden my audience a bit. So like you say, we're trying to do my background with the muscle cars into the four-wheel drive scene.
Yep.
So now I'm trying to do something to try and get that audience in that off-road scene to be retained as well, and also try and broaden the horizons with that sort of muscle car scene as well.
Are we allowed any? Can I ask? Is it a diesel or is it a petrol? Or are we keeping it under
It's a
wraps?
petrol, this one. I really want to do a diesel, but it's going to be petrol again.
Righto. All right, we'll leave it at that. Everyone will just
yeah.
have to wait and see. But obviously, look, jump over Sam. I'll put links below, but Sam's YouTube, which if you guys aren't following by now, get over there. It's pretty bloody epic. And then I'll put your Instagram and Facebook and bits and pieces down there as well. Jump online to what's your website?
Well, it's builtnotbought.com.au.
Cool. So he's got a fair bit of merch and bits and pieces on there.
It. Yeah, the
so
merch.
Jump over and load up on the Built Not Bought
Yeah.
Built Not Bought merch.
Built Not Bought, not Built Not Brought.
There you go, merch. He's even got work shirts there you guys can throw on while you're tinkering in the
Built
shed
up
at
with
home.
spanners, not spoons.
Yeah.
That's how I was.
I wonder what was going on there. All right, well, sweet. Look, once again, thanks very much, Sam. Cheers to your mates. Finally, how good are they? Just come on, even for a beer.
Yeah,
Come on, for a
I don't drink beer and I'm
drinker.
halfway through it. It's
There
going
you
well.
go. All right, well, guys, look, there you go. That was the very first episode of Explore Yarns with your mates. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Please let me know in the comments if this is something you guys want to see more of. Me chatting to other influencers and anyone that you think we should get on the show. Do us a favor, chuck that in the comments as well. If you got any questions for Sammy, throw them in the comments and I'll make sure he jumps over and answers some of them on YouTube. But yeah, make sure you jump over and follow Sammy. Quick shout out to your mates beer at the moment. Right now, because of all the closures that's going on, you can actually jump online, order a carton of your mates beer and they will deliver it to your door. So that's self-isolating at its absolute finest. Couple of young local blokes from the Sunshine Coast who are just having a red hot crack. So we thank them. They don't pay us, just a heads up. I actually just really froth this brand. So get around your mates. And then a huge shout out to my major sponsors for this year, ARB, Safari, and Trackabout Campers. Stay tuned. There's plenty of vlogs, the Explore Life series. And if this goes well, we'll bring you more of these. Thanks, guys. Till next time, get out and enjoy the Explore Life.